What if I had 3 acres instead of 30? How would I build a productive food source on 3 acres? I'm making this video in response to a lot of emails that I get from you guys who are emailing me and saying, I love what you're doing on 30 acres, but I only have 2 or 3. Can I really miniaturize it and make it work for me? This video is going to be broken up into 3 phases. Number 1, I'm going to give you 3 critical questions to ask and answer for yourself as you go into this planning process. Number 2, I'm going to tell you exactly what I would put on 3 acres myself, even getting specific on best breeds based on research and application here at my own farm. And number 3, I'm going to tell you exactly what that selection of farm enterprises would produce per year in calories, so that you will know exactly what this 3-acre setup will provide and how much you'll need to supplement based on your family size. And also, guys, I have a free animals per acre PDF for you down below. It will show you exactly how many animals, whether pigs or sheep or goats or cows or chickens, that 1 acre can support, assuming you have 35 inches or more of rainfall. Because the assumption here is that you're not just looking to stack and stuff as many animals in 3 acres as possible. The assumption here is that you want to really work in collaboration with your grass resource, which is ultimately going to be how you reduce feed inputs, reduce reliance on conventional supply chains, and keep your land and animals really, really healthy. All right, so first up, the 3 critical questions to ask and answer for yourself. Number 1 is, who will eat the food that I grow? And for me, the answer was myself and my family. I would not go for profit or market farming at all with my 3 acres. I'd go solely food security and stability for my family. Question number 2 is, what will I grow? And I would grow food that myself and my family eat. And while this may sound like stating the obvious here, it's really easy for me, personally at least, to open a seed catalog and pick out 16 different varieties of colorful squash, and then sit back and realize that I actually can't remember the last time my family and I actually enjoyed squash for dinner. So, personally, instead of spinning my wheels trying to grow all the things, I would just grow the things that we enjoy eating. And for me, that means I'm going to focus really heavily on meat, dairy, and eggs. Then number 3 question to ask is, how many types of things will I initially commit to? And I personally kept my 3-acre farm plan at 3 initial enterprises. And an enterprise being a sheep or a cow or a garden. I did this based on my experience here at my own farm, and I've realized that if I diversify and try to juggle beyond 3 different enterprises, I burn out and I notice a real decrease in productivity for any one element there. So you might be better at juggling than me, but I do suggest that you put some sort of limit on yourself as you are in the beginning phases. All right, now that I've established those 3 guiding principles, I'm going to give you an exact list of what I would raise on 3 acres. I would raise 25 Rhode Island red laying hens. Now, you can raise these hens from chicks, which is what most people do, but also a good option is buying ready to lay pullets and finding them through Facebook or Craigslist if you want those eggs right away. Number 2, I would raise 6 Dorper meat wethers. Now, a meat wether is a castrated male sheep, not intended for breeding, but intended to be raised and finished out as meat. You want to buy those meat wethers at around 50 pounds and then grow them out to a 90 or 100 pound weight before sending to slaughter. You can find sheep owners through Facebook or Craigslist, and if you shop in February or March or July and August, you'll typically find a super abundance of those meat wethers, as those flock owners will have a lot of males born in relation to females. And here's a question that I do anticipate receiving in light of this particular point, and that is, why buy meat wethers instead of breeding stock? Well, if you only have 3 acres, breeding stock will eat up a lot of that grass resource. So for example, if I hope to harvest 6 meat wethers per year, I'll need to keep a breeding group of around 4 ewes and a ram. And those 5 animals are going to require feed year-round. If you're working on something like 5 or 7 acres, a breeding group would make a lot more sense. But on 3 acres, if we're looking to maximize our resource, raising meat wethers is a better option in my opinion. And as the final of my 3 initial enterprises on 3 acres, I would raise 2 dairy goats, either Nubians or French Alpines. While this is not a dairy goat channel, I have been working behind the scenes to build out a little bit of a dairy goat source for myself, and I've been really using this book, Raising Goats Naturally, to do so. You can buy the book at shepherdess.com, and it really supports my work when you do. If you can find a bred nanny to buy, this would be ideal in my opinion, as you won't have to initially hassle with keeping or finding a buck to breed your does to. A bred nanny is a pregnant female. And if you choose one of the 2 breeds I just mentioned, they will stay in milk for a year or more after giving birth. Okay, so now for the part that I had fun breaking down. How much food would this operation actually produce per year? And at average production levels per animal, this 3-acre homestead setup would produce about 2,677 pounds of food per year, or 1.3 million calories. Now this breaks down to 4,000 calories per day, which means it can fully sustain 2 individuals calorie-wise. Now if there's a guy in the mix, he'll probably have to be a fairly skinny guy, and if it's somebody that's living with me, they'll have to be like a really skinny person. I think I eat like 2,500 calories a day. We'll have to figure that one out, and I'm sure we'll still use the grocery store. But each laying hen here is going to need to produce 300 eggs per year. Each meat wether is going to need to yield you 40 pounds of meat after butchering, and each goat needs to produce 218 gallons of milk per year, being milked twice a day. So keep those production thresholds in mind, and know this, that on 3 acres, there's huge opportunity to grow and continue to build the calorie output on that acreage. In fact, watch this video next where my friend Nancy is raising 6 dairy sheep and all of their lambs on 1.5 acres.